Yo, what's up? It is your friend, Damian Howard, your premier social and emotional learning coach. I was just trying to make sure that on the technical end, things are good for this Facebook Live session today because I have a jam-packed session for my friends, everyone who is joining this space today to say, hey, I am committed to my own personal development. And we also have champions as a part of this village that say, yo, it's not just about my own personal development, but I want to be a steward of this content, of these resources, so that I can make sure that folks within my village and my community that are a part of my school environment get access to the goodness of what's happening in the social and emotional learning group as well. Hey, I am so excited, y'all, to just go live and to be able to share what it is I have for you all today. Today, we're going to take an opportunity to discuss some strategies that are going to help us to actually accomplish those New Year resolutions for 2023. Hey, just go ahead, strap on that seatbelt, go ahead, get ready, go ahead, lean in. Matter of fact, you probably want to go ahead and share this. Let the people know that it is going down. And Social Emotional Learning Plus, if they're not a part of that group, tell them to get there because there's some nuggets that we are about to explore together. There's some information and some content that is about to be shared that has the ability to catapult all of us, myself included, into a more successful 2023. Now, let me say something about that, because some of you all may feel and believe, hey, I'm going to be successful regardless, or I'm going to be a winner. I'm going to be victorious regardless. So what is it that you're trying to say, Damian? That if I don't follow your strategies or do what it is that you're suggesting, that I'm not going to be successful? No, I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is this, and I will say this with all type of sincerity and with no reservations, as I share with you that a lot of us have aspirations and goals of living an existence that's contrary to where we are. For me, when I look at the beginning of a year, I have goals as it pertains to my faith, my finances, fitness, and my family. So if you look at whatever categories are key for you, are important for you, and ask yourself, do I feel as if I am operating at optimal capacity? Do I feel like or think that I am living into the fullness of what I can get or what I can glean or what I can have? When it comes to those areas, if there is room for growth, what I'm saying is that maybe, quite possibly, it could be serious and important enough for us to say, hey, if I want something different, if I want something greater, if I want to make progress, let me go ahead and follow those strategies that Damian is suggesting today, because these are strategies that are time-tested. These are strategies that I've worked on, that I've even seen researchers corroborate to say that when this stuff is done, when we take this type of approach, we have a higher ability to be successful and to have great accomplishments when it comes to what it is that we want out of life. Hey, I hope that you all find yourself in a great headspace. I hope that you have ventured into this live space and or playback opportunity with a heart and a mind that's open and oriented towards growth, right? I tell you, every time I come to these spaces, even as I am sharing with you, when I get an opportunity to engage with your comments, I am growing as well. This is a mutually growth-oriented experience and opportunity for all of us. So let's get into it. I come today to share, and some of you all already saw it with that TikTok reel. Y'all, I'm trying to learn TikTok. This thing is brand new for me. But that TikTok reel that I put out, here are 3 strategies to help us to actually accomplish those resolutions for 2023. Let's get into this thing. So number one, I want us to create realistic goals. Let me say it again, create realistic goals. And as an educator, one of the things that is often presented when we talk about goals is we need to have SMART goals. We need to have goals that we have an ability to stick to. And I'm just going ahead and adding people to the group. I see more group members coming saying that I want to be a part of that live session and I don't want you to miss out. So yeah, and you can look it up. You can kind of see what that acronym is about. But what I'm going to focus on today is just the realistic part of trying to establish SMART goals. Because when we create goals and when we write down what it is that we're trying to accomplish, what I want to highlight today is an opportunity for us to ask ourselves, wait, is that realistic? Did I commit to, or do I know how to go and get the type of education that is necessary for me to actually accomplish those goals, right? Because if we're setting and establishing grandiose goals for things that we've never tried, opportunities that in past years have never existed for us, hey, we could potentially be setting ourselves up to set goals that put us in a bad place, put us in a bad headspace, a bad heart space when we don't accomplish those goals. So what I am simply asking, what I'm pleading for you all to consider is, as we establish goals this year, and maybe some of you all already wrote those goals down, you might want to revisit those things, is that, man, okay, I want to set up a goal. I want to write a goal. I want to position myself in a way whereby I'm setting myself up for success. So what you don't hear me saying is, I am not saying don't push yourself. I think goal setting is oriented towards the push. Goal setting is oriented towards us going beyond where we are. Yes, push yourself, but push yourself in a way that's steeped in realism. Push yourself in a way whereby your education, your experiences, and your practices say that, okay, this is something I can actually do. This is a goal that I can actually accomplish. This is a behemoth, a beast, a mountain, whatever you want to call it, that I can actually conquer during the year of 2023. And as I stated, for me, I have goals in the space of faith, finances, fitness, and family. And I'm not here to tell you all, hey, here's my goal. This is what I'm going to do. But I am here to ask you to consider, what are the most important areas in your life? What are those things and areas, categories that you value most? What I'm saying is that as you identify what those areas are, go ahead and say, hey, this is what I want this year to look like as it pertains to my family connecting. This is what I want this year to look like as it pertains to my finances. Finances, real quick. And I showed you all this when I went on and I was trying to learn TikTok, is that I created a picture for a financial goal that I have for my business that is super attainable, that is super realistic. My 13 years as a special education teacher, my master's in divinity studies, the things that I've been doing for the last 5 years in the space of social and emotional learning makes this super realistic for me, right? It's a goal that if somebody else were to write this on paper, maybe this is something that's not realistic for you. What is realistic for you in the space of finances, in the space of your family, in the space of your fitness? What can you do this year? What is something that is realistic for you to accomplish? Write that thing down, take a picture, create a graphic, do what you need to do that this year, 2023, is not going to end the same way that it started. You're going to be able to look back at this year and say that there are some things that I got addressed, that I got accomplished. Some people, hear me, that I cut off, that I was able to finally separate myself from, because I went into this year with intentionality for those things that I want to accomplish. And for some of you all, I don't know why I say this in my videos, because I love for you all to stick with it. But sometimes I might say something, and in that moment, you get such an impression that you might have to leave this space. Matter of fact, just listen even as you write, and leave this space and go write your goals right now. Because for some of you all, this thing is on your heart so heavy that there needs to be an immediacy for you to implement what it is that we're talking about in this coaching session with immediacy. It's like, yo, what that young man is saying is hitting me in my heart. And what I believe as a person that's oriented, towards spirituality, is that it goes beyond what I'm saying to you. If you're feeling like something in your gut that is propelling you towards activity, that is beyond Damien, that is beyond you. And that is some type of conviction, some type of push, some type of prodding that's saying, get up, go, write your goals, make those things realistic, so that at the end of 2023, you can look back and say, whoa, man, something is different. Something has changed. Something has accelerated. Momentum has grown. I am not the same person that I was when I started off this year. And what I'm telling you all, if you want to be successful, if you want to be conquerors, if you want to be winners, if you want the victory stamp of approval put on at the end of this year as it pertains to what you want for your life, I'm saying step one, and you all can write that in the comment section, even if you're watching this live or via playback. Step one says that you need to write realistic goals. Just want to take that opportunity to shout out all of y'all who are joining this thing live. For those of you all who are going to watch it playback, you all know how I am. This is my first live session of 2023. I'm the type of guy that loves interaction. If something that I say is resonating with you, if you have questions during this session, listen, I'm literally looking at it live stream. I'm going to watch it via playback. I want you all to engage with this content. I know it's helpful. The reason I know it's helpful is because I live this. Do you hear me? I don't just come talking to you all based on something that I think. This stuff is steeped in empiricism. What do I mean by that? That your boy tried this stuff in my own life and it works. Set realistic goals. All right, number two, as it pertains to those strategies to help you to actually accomplish your resolutions for this new year, those things that you set out and resolve to say that this year, I'm going to get some stuff done. Step number two says that you have to create space for reflection. And I am a guy whereby things oftentimes move at a very accelerated pace and speed. Even as I'm talking right now, I have to slow myself down as I talk about this second step, because this second step is all about getting grounded. My feet were up on my chair a moment ago like this here. I put my feet squarely on the floor, because if I'm going to talk about it, y'all, I want to be a physical representation, a model for what it is that I'm trying to share. I'm grounding myself. I'm quieting some of the noise in my mind that's asking me to really reflect upon and think about who might be watching this, who's going to check out the playback, who's going to get value from this, who's going to say, hey, Damien, I want to talk more about your work after this live session. No, it's not about any of that, because in this moment, the modeling says that we have to find time, create space to slow down long enough to reflect upon what's going on in our lives. What is your reflection oriented towards? It's oriented towards what we talked about with step number one. For that first step, when I wrote down those realistic goals, I don't know if it's important enough for you, but my goals are important enough for me that every single day, I need to find space, create opportunity to say, Damien, how did it go? And so often I get on here and I talk about mindfulness practices, and you all are like, hey, isn't Damien supposed to be talking to us? If he's trying to engage with us right now, why are his eyes closed? Because I'm trying to model for you that you have to find space where you stop being so concerned, so worrisome about everybody else, and you tend to your own business. You mind your own business. You mind your own goals. And you say, hey, today, did I do what I set out to do? Did I grow Hear this part. Did I grow in a way that helps me become who I need to become? Because we're talking about steps here, but the reality is none of these steps are going to be taken. None of these steps are going to be accomplished unless you become who it is you need to become to be the person to fulfill those resolutions. Am I becoming a more patient person? Am I becoming a more grounded person? Am I becoming a more stable person? Am I becoming a more disciplined person? Am I becoming a more trustworthy person? The type of friend that people know that they can lean and depend on, a friend that's closer than a brother, a friend that will never leave nor forsake. Am I becoming? And in any instances when your reply or response to yourself is no, and you're not living into what it is that you said you want to be for yourself to accomplish your goals, I am simply asking you to change. I am simply asking you to shift. I am simply asking you to take steps in a different direction. If whatever you're doing isn't working for you, why in the world would you keep doing it? And I know change, and I know shift, and I know becoming does not happen overnight. What does that adage say? Rome wasn't built in a day. This stuff takes time, but progressively, are you taking those steps towards? Are you accelerating? Is there momentum towards what it is that you wrote when you said, this is what I want to accomplish. This is who I want to be in the year of 2023. And I love that we have folks live and people who are going to watch this playback. I would love for you even right now to start writing publicly. What are some of those goals that you're trying to accomplish? You might even publicly want to declare that these are some of the consistent barriers that get in my way. These are some of the things that blocked me in 21. That is what stopped me in 2022, right? So if you already cognizant, and then during your reflection, you were reminded of some of the inhibitors that stunted your growth before. Now I'm saying take steps to eliminate and to get rid of, to minimize those inhibitors for 2023, because you're on your way to somewhere and to something that is great. I profess that, I believe that, and I speak that over these Facebook Live airways. I'm looking literally so deeply into this camera right now, piercing into the inner parts of yourself, saying that your 2023 has to be, it's going to be, I believe so, that it's better, greater. You're wiser, you're stronger, right? Embrace all of this for yourself. Keep those affirmations strong and find that place and space for daily personal reflection to continue to grow in the space of your own goals. All right, was that good, you all? Oh, I love how one of our live guests said that my goal for this year is to eliminate debt, improve credit scores. And what that makes me think of when I see somebody write that is that this is a person that has goals of ownership. That says that there's some things that I want to own, and the ways that I've operated before have kind of gotten in the way of me owning my house, of me owning my new car, of me owning my investment. Whatever it is that this person is saying, Ms. Brown saying that she wants to do, she's now taking the steps towards creating goals that's going to help her to accomplish those very things. Like that type of commitment to show up to this space, to come into the live session, to say this thing is brand new. I don't know this young man, but I believe that there's something he might say that could propel and push me in a positive way. Yo, that's what I'm talking about. When we have more adults that commit to investing in your social and emotional development, your leadership capacity, I promise you all, our cities, our world becomes a better place because we become better people. Step number 1, set realistic goals. Step number 2, create space for reflection and journaling is what I said on that TikTok. Step number 3, get you some accountability. Get you some accountability. So what I say and profess to all of you all is I humbly present myself and Social and Emotional Learning Plus as one of your layers of accountability if you want this space and this village to be that for you. See, the fact of the matter is that a lot of people like to hide and look. They like to hide and look. They like to kind of peek in a little bit, but do it in a way that is on stealth mode. Do it in a way that I'll never be able to see your post. I'll never, for some of you, even know who you are because you have not afforded me the opportunity. And not just me, you have not afforded the other folks in this space the opportunity to learn of who you are. When you show up and you, just like I had an engagement post. Let me try to find that engagement post. Matter of fact, man, I love the opportunity through Zoom to just even share stuff live with y'all. Look, when I put this engagement post in our village, like literally people were coming on the post and they were sharing their feelings. And in that moment of them sharing their feelings, they were able to get feedback. And even beyond the feedback, even in them sharing their feelings, it's like, oh, wow. Now I'm accountable to myself to do what it is that I need to do, that if I had some feelings that weren't necessarily the best, some feelings that were keeping me from accomplishing my goals, right? Now, just that simple act of them typing gave them a layer and was an action of accountability that's going to help them to trek toward and work towards and run towards where it is that they're trying to go with those goals that they establish. Who are you accountable to? For me, I'm accountable to my wife. My wife and I are both accountable to our therapist. And let me say something about therapy. You don't have to wait until it's bad until you go and get a mediator. Too often we wait until we get into a space of emergency mode. The building is on fire, right? We wait to the 911 situation. What I'm saying is go and get you some accountability. Find you a mediator and don't wait until it gets bad. Don't think that it has to be into a position of destruction, of utter chaos before you go and commit to what it is I'm saying right now. Not only am I accountable to my wife, not only are together, we are proactively accountable to therapeutic intervention. I also am a part of a mastermind group, y'all. If you're loving what you're hearing, either live or via playback, y'all, I'm loving how we're getting some of the feedback, how we're getting some of the input. Go ahead, give those thumb up emojis. If you can't hit a heart, let's make sure we keep commenting. This space is best when it's interactive. All right, continuing on. Step 3, accountability. I also have a mastermind group. So in this mastermind group, we have a facilitator. He doesn't even necessarily call himself a mentor because he's just like, I'm here, even though I consider him a mentor figure in my life. He's like, I'm here to just create space and opportunity for discourse and dialogue, right? He comes into that space and asks us things like, who do you want to be in 10 years? What do you want to accomplish in 10 years, right? And when you say those type of things, now the next time I show up, I have brothers and I have a mentor that says, we're going to hold you accountable to who you said you want to be, to what it is you said you want to do. If it's serious enough for you to articulate that this is what I'm trying to work towards, I love you. Oh, that's what's important for accountability. Can you find somebody that loves you enough to be honest with you? Can you find you somebody that loves you enough to not play around with your future, to not play around with your present, to not play around with the progress that you have the ability to make if they can just be real with you and say, hey, there's some things, characteristics, manners, behaviors that I'm seeing that if you could just really invest in tweaking the way that you think about finances, that you think about relationships, I promise you, you can have a better outcome. Do you have people that can speak realness into your life, that can give you critical feedback and love? And when you get those people, honor those people, cherish those people, affirm those people, because accountability is where real growth can happen at an accelerated pace. All right, y'all. So I wanted to actually not just stop with 3 strategies or 3 steps that you all can take, that when I'm talking about some you all, that we all can take if we are going to really conquer our 2023 goals. Come on, is there anybody out there? Is there anybody listening that actually wants to be serious this year, deeply committed this year to accomplishing your goals? I trust that it's not just me. I trust that there's a community that, especially if you got to this point in the presentation, if you got this far into the video, obviously there's something here that you want for yourself. So for those of us who are committed to really conquering, accomplishing, mastering these goals for this year, I want to give you a little bonus. And I'm going to like show this thing real fast, and then I'm going to unshow it. I'm going to show it real fast, and then I'm going to unshow it, because y'all don't need to be all in your boy's business. Look at that. Look at that. Then we'll go to next week. Come on, check them out. Check them out. Yeah, creating some space at the beginning of the year for reflection and for mindfulness. Look at that. Look at that. And even, towards the top, giving some of those action items that need to be accomplished. Ooh, let me go and see. Let me go and see. Yep. Even when you see yellow, those are different goals that I have. Here's the bonus for you all. And I'm not going to charge you any extra for this bonus. I just give you this bonus out of love. If you're serious about accomplishing those goals, if you're serious about tackling, being victorious when it comes to your resolutions for 2023, come on, you got to put those things on your calendar. You got to have something and even use technology in a way that you're going to have reminders. You got to use technology in a way that you literally, if you put it on your calendar, have a timeline by when you want to accomplish certain things. Like literally, you got to break those goals down into benchmarks. Maybe you might have a benchmark every week. Maybe you might have a benchmark every month. I have a financial goal, right? So every single month, if I divide that financial goal by 12, I know really what I need to accomplish every month if I'm going to fulfill this goal by the end of the year. So I put those things on my calendar. And when I put it on my calendar, that's me bringing all three of the steps together. It's not only setting realistic goals, but writing those things down and having a place whereby I can go back to those goals or go back to those benchmarks when I need to. It's me saying I'm literally putting space on my calendar, creating cushion for reflection time, for grounding myself, for quieting and turning down all of the noise and focusing on what I need for my life in 2023. Also, the calendar in itself is a form of accountability. The calendar in itself reminds me that, Damien, these literally are things that you need to do if you are going to have a super successful 2023. And also, when I look at that calendar, it tells me by when I want to accomplish these things and how I can even go about accomplishing those things. All right, so I want to go ahead and just provide an opportunity to remind you all that I show up to this space really hoping that folks are getting so much value out of it. I am a social and emotional learning coach, and all of my work is really oriented towards saying, hey, as we continue to show up into this space, are we better? Are we getting information? Are we having an experience that helps us to be different, that helps us to be better than it was before we showed up? 20 years of experience with mentoring practices in some way, 13 plus years of experience as a special education teacher. I have a master's in divinity studies. And as you see on the other side of this graphic, is I firmly believe that when we have more people who are committing to this type of work, that we can bring reform and change to an education system, especially for babies that are children that are growing up in financially strained communities, that we can bring change to those systems when we change and enhance ourselves. So that is why I show up. And I'm so excited that everybody who committed to watching the fullness of this session, you're going to have a tremendous 2023. I believe it. Because if you sat here and watched all 30 minutes of this session, you are serious about your own growth and your own success. I appreciate the willingness to be a part of your village. Continue to engage with what it is we're doing in the Social Emotional Learning Plus Facebook group, because that is where we're going to continue to do this work and show up like this every single week for your growth, for your success, so that as a village, we all become who it is that we were made to be. All right. Peace out. It's your friend, Damian Howard, your premier social and emotional learning coach. All right. Bye.